You have been disrespected. Someone looked at you, dismissed you, mocked you. Something inside your chest burned. Your blood boiled. You wanted to explode. You wanted to scream, to defend your fragile ego, but you did not, or worse, you did, and you looked completely pathetic. This is your reality. You have been conditioned to submit. Niccolò Machiavelli viewed the world differently. He saw a battlefield. He understood one absolute, ruthless truth. The weak react. The powerful respond. Lock in and listen carefully. By the end of this monologue, you will change the way you move through this world forever. You think it is about you when someone insults you, cuts you off, or belittles your achievements. Your ego screams. You think they hate you. You think it is a personal attack on your character. You are wrong, completely wrong. It is never about you. It is about power. Welcome to the real world. Welcome to the arena of power. Look around you. Society paints a picture of equality and mutual respect. It is an illusion. Strip away the corporate jargon, the polite smiles, and the designer suits. And what do you have left? A hyper-competitive, ruthless hierarchy. We are primal creatures navigating a concrete jungle. In this modern battlefield, physical dominance is no longer the primary weapon. You cannot strike a man down in a boardroom. You cannot duel him in the street. So, how do men dominate each other today? How do they establish who is the king and who is the peasant? They use psychological warfare. They use disrespect. Disrespect is not a random emotional outburst. It is a highly calculated social test. It is a mechanism of survival and dominance. When a predator is scanning the herd, it does not charge blindly. It looks for the limp. It looks for the flinch. It probes for weakness. In the exact same way, when a man disrespects you, he is throwing a stone at your fortress. He wants to see if the walls shake. He is running a diagnostic test on your self-worth. Understand the anatomy of this attack. The enemy makes his move. A condescending remark during a presentation, a backhanded compliment about your success, a blatant disregard for your boundaries. And then, a crucial moment occurs. A moment most men are too blind to notice. He pauses. He waits. He watches. He calculates. What is he waiting for? He is waiting for you to break. He is not listening to your words. He is reading your biology. He is watching your breathing. He is looking to see if your face flushes red. He is listening to hear if the pitch of your voice rises. He wants you to justify yourself. He wants you to get angry. Why? Because the moment you react, you hand him the crown. The moment you lose your temper, you validate his attack. By reacting, you are subconsciously telling him that his opinion holds immense weight in your mind. You are proving that he has the absolute power to dictate your emotional state. He pressed a button, and you performed exactly like a trained animal. This is the tragic flaw of the weak man. He feels the sting of the insult, and his fragile ego takes over. He believes that by shouting louder, by throwing an insult back, by aggressively defending his honor, he is fighting back. In reality, he is surrendering. He is giving away his power for free. He has allowed the attacker to snatch the frame of the interaction. Niccolò Machiavelli observed the courts of kings, the rise of empires, and the inevitable fall of the weak. He understood that power is rarely taken by force. Most of the time, it is willingly handed over by those who lack emotional discipline. In the harsh reality of human dynamics, the one who controls his own internal state controls the entire room. The one who remains unbothered becomes untouchable. You must fundamentally change the way you view these interactions. You must stop seeing disrespect as a personal injury. Start seeing it as data. It is pure, unfiltered information. When a man disrespects you, he is exposing his own hand. He is revealing his own deep-seated insecurities, his burning envy, and his desperate, pathetic need for validation. A truly powerful man, a man secure in his own empire, does not need to step on others to feel tall. Only the weak rely on the subjugation of others to simulate strength. They are playing a rigged game, a game designed to drag you down into the mud, where they have the advantage of experience. But you have a choice. You do not have to step into their arena. You hold the ultimate authority over your own mind. No word spoken against you. No mocking glance. No arrogant gesture holds any intrinsic power. They are empty vessels. They are illusions of dominance. They only gain power when you pour your own emotional energy into them. Remember this truth. The next time someone tries to test your boundaries, etch it into your mind. Disrespect is not live ammunition. It is only a spark. You are the gunpowder. Look at the weak man. Look at him closely when the insult lands. I want you to visualize him because I want you to recognize the sickness inside yourself. The disrespect is spoken, a subtle jab, a public mockery. Instantly, his physiology betrays him. His face turns red. A hot flush of embarrassment and rage floods his veins. His muscles tense. His breathing becomes shallow. He has lost control of his own biology. Then, he makes the ultimate mistake. He opens his mouth. His voice rises. The pitch is too high. It sounds thin, defensive, desperate. He begins to explain. He begins to justify his actions. He provides evidence of his worth. He says things like, "I did not mean it that way. You are taking it out of context. You do not understand what I am trying to do. Look at what he is doing. He is pleading. He has regressed. In a matter of seconds, he has transformed from a grown man into a terrified child, standing before a strict authority figure, begging not to be punished, begging for permission to exist. Now, look at the attacker. Look at the man who threw the insult. He is not angry. He is entirely calm. He is leaning back. A subtle, satisfied smirk plays on his lips. He is watching a puppet dance on the exact strings he just pulled. He threw a worthless scrap of disrespect onto the floor, and the weak man scrambled to pick it up like a starving dog. The manipulator is feeding on this reaction. He is absorbing the power that is being freely handed to him. He knows he has won. When you react like this, you think you are defending your honor. You think raising your voice, talking fast, and aggressively stating your case makes you look formidable. It does not. It makes you look utterly pathetic. Every single word of defense you utter is a confession of your deep insecurity. You are subconsciously screaming out loud. Your opinion of me is so important that I must change it immediately to feel safe in my own skin. You are validating their attack. You are proving to them that their words have the power to completely destroy your internal peace. You did not defend your territory. You surrendered the gates. A king does not scream at a peasant for throwing mud at his carriage. A king does not step down into the dirt to explain why he deserves to wear the crown. He simply rolls over them, or he does not acknowledge their existence at all. An emotional reaction is never a display of strength. It is an absolute, unconditional surrender. Sit down, lock in, and listen carefully. Erase everything society has taught you about vulnerability. erase the lie that you must defend your honor against every barking dog. In the arena of power, your emotions are your greatest liability. They are the exact levers your enemies will pull to destroy you. To survive, you must replace your weak, reactive nature with a framework of absolute, ruthless detachment. Machiavelli did not study the world through the lens of morality or fairness. He studied it through the lens of leverage. He knew that the man who controls his internal state controls the entire room. Emotional detachment is not a trauma response. It is not running away. It is a highly calibrated psychological shield. It is the conscious, tactical decision to sever the connection between your ego and the external world. Your ego wants to fight. It wants to prove its worth. It begs to be understood. You must kill that instinct. You must starve it until it stops demanding validation from people who do not matter. When you detach, you remove the target from your back. You become an impenetrable wall of ice. Think of emperors. Think of kings. A king does not descend from his throne to argue with a peasant in the dirt. If a peasant stands outside the castle walls and screams insults at the crown, does the king weep? Does he rush out to the gates to justify his reign? Does he explain himself? No. He does not even blink. To a king, the peasant's anger is completely irrelevant. It does not exist. It has no impact on the reality of the throne. You must become the king of your own mind. When someone disrespects you, they are a peasant throwing rocks at a fortress. By reacting, you are opening the gates. By arguing, you are stepping down into the mud. You are taking off your crown and handing it to them. You are elevating a nobody to the status of a rival. Never lower your rank to entertain a clown. Master this weapon. Protect your energy. When the attack comes, look at them. Observe them clinically. Analyze their pathetic attempt to steal your power. But do not absorb a single drop of it. Let their words strike the cold iron of your indifference. Let their hostilities starve to death in the terrifying vacuum of your apathy. The brutal truth of social dynamics boils down to one undeniable law. Disrespect has no physical form. It cannot break your bones. It cannot drain your bank account. It only exists if you give it life. You cannot be disrespected unless you allow it. There is a weapon most men are too afraid to use. They have been brainwashed to believe that silence is submission. They think if they do not speak, they lose the battle. They are fools. Silence is not an absence of noise. It is a calculated absence of validation. It is the most violent psychological weapon you can deploy in the arena of power. When a man disrespects you, he is throwing a hook. He is fishing for a reaction. He needs you to bite. He needs you to get angry or defensive so he can establish his dominance over your emotional state. He wants to drag you into his frame. Deny him. The moment the insult lands, the room shifts. The tension spikes. Everyone is waiting for your defense. Do nothing. Do not flinch. Do not change your posture. Do not let your breathing quicken. You freeze your biology entirely. You become a wall of absolute, terrifying indifference. And you look at him, but you do not just look him in the eyes. That is what equals do. You are not his equal right now. You are going to look exactly at the space between his eyebrows. Master this specific technique. It is the predator's gaze. Looking between the eyebrows strips him of his humanity in your eyes. It tells his subconscious mind that you are not engaging with a person. You are analyzing an object. You are observing a very small, very loud insect buzzing in the room, and then you hold it. You do not utter a single syllable. He waits. He watches. He calculates. He expects your anger. He expects your pathetic explanations. Instead, you give him a void. You give him absolute nothingness. Human psychology is utterly incapable of handling a social void. It creates an unbearable, suffocating tension. Think about the physics of this trap. The attacker threw his entire emotional weight against a door he expected you to hold shut. He wanted a struggle, but you simply stepped aside. Now, he is falling forward. He is losing his balance. He has no leverage. Watch his physiology begin to crack. The silence stretches. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. His smugness evaporates. His heart rate begins to spike. The coldness in your eyes makes him doubt his own reality. He begins to panic. He begins to wonder if he made a catastrophic mistake. He wonders what you know that he does not. He realizes, with a sudden shock of fear, that he has absolutely no control over you. You have snatched the frame right out of his hands without lifting a finger. The pressure will become too much for his weak mind to bear. To relieve his own rising anxiety, he will do something incredibly pathetic. He will attempt to fill the void. He will start speaking again. He will try to soften the blow of his own insult. He will laugh nervously. He will backtrack. He will say he was just joking. He will stumble over his words, desperately trying to repair the awkwardness that you are forcing him to endure. He will fill the silence with his own stupidity. He is negotiating with himself. He is destroying his own position. He is submitting to your silent authority. You did not have to raise your voice. You did not have to defend your character. You did not have to prove your worth. You simply held the line and let him hang himself with his own rope. The weak man speaks to prove he is dangerous. The Machiavellian man knows that the most terrifying thing in the dark is the silence. Master the cold gaze. Master the pause. Let them drown in the echo of their own disrespect. Silence is not the white flag of surrender. It is the heavy artillery of the untouchable. In the arena of power, there is a currency much more valuable than money. It is your attention. It is your focus. It is your emotional energy. This is your treasury. And right now, you are leaving the vault wide open. Every time someone disrespects you and you respond with anger, you are making a transaction. You are taking handfuls of gold from your own treasury and handing it to a beggar. The weak man is a reckless spender. Someone throws a cheap insult at him, and he immediately throws his wealth out the window. He argues, he shouts, he invests his precious time and biological energy into a worthless interaction. He bankrupts his own internal peace just to prove a point to a fool. The Machiavellian man operates differently. He is a ruthless accountant of his own energy. When a bad investment presents itself, he does not negotiate. He locks the safe. Disrespect is a parasite. Understand this biological fact. A parasite cannot survive in a vacuum. It requires a host. It must feed on your outrage, your defensive behavior, and your verbal engagement to stay alive. If you do not feed it, it dies. It starves to death on the spot. You must learn how to permanently cut off the supply line to your enemy. When a person attacks your character or tests your boundaries, you must pause and ask yourself one simple, calculating question. What does this person want from me? My reaction, deny it. This is the weapon of strategic indifference. It goes far beyond simply ignoring someone. Ignoring can still stem from fear. You can ignore someone while your heart races and your fists are clenched. Strategic indifference is completely different. It is removal of their value from your reality. You look at them, and you see absolutely nothing of consequence. You demote them from a legitimate threat to an invisible entity. They speak, but the words do not land. They raise their voice, and you simply turn your body away. You pick up your phone. You return to your work. You begin a calm conversation with someone else in the room. You show them, with brutal, undeniable physical clarity, that their actions do not even register on your radar. You drain their energy by completely refusing to match it. Human beings have a desperate, primal need for acknowledgement. Even negative attention validates their existence. When you get angry and scream back, you are comforting them. You are proving that they matter. You are proving that they have enough gravity to affect your orbit. But when you deploy strategic indifference, you strip them of their reality. You deny them their very existence in your world. There is nothing more terrifying to a fragile, attention-seeking ego than the realization that it holds absolutely zero power. You leave them standing there, holding their pathetic insult, suffocating in an empty room of your creation. It is a psychological execution. The greatest punishment is not anger. It is treating them as if they do not exist. Silence is a shield. Indifference is a fortress. But there are times in the arena of power when a shield is not enough. There are times when an enemy is so arrogant, so blindingly foolish, that they mistake your silence for submission. They cross the final line. When this happens, you must be prepared to step into the dark side of human dynamics. You must drop the shield and draw the sword. The weak man lashes out the second he is provoked. He sends the angry message. He raises his fists. He creates a public scene. He leaves his fingerprints on everything. By doing this, he hands his enemy the ultimate gift. The enemy can now point the finger and play the victim. The weak man loses the moral high ground and exposes his own lack of control. The Machiavellian man never strikes back in the heat of the moment. He absorbs the disrespect. He gives a polite nod. He lets the enemy walk away, thinking they have won the war. He lulls them into a false sense of absolute security. He does this because he understands a brutal truth. Revenge is a dish best served cold, but only if you have the patience to let it freeze. You must detach yourself entirely from the immediate desire for emotional payback. Emotional revenge is sloppy. Strategic retaliation is an art form. When you decide to destroy an enemy, you do not attack them directly. You do not argue with them. You map out their ecosystem. You identify their pillars of support, their social leverage, their network, their ambitions. You find exactly what they value most. And then you quietly, methodically, begin to dismantle it. You operate entirely in the shadows. You whisper the right words into the right ears. You align yourself with their competitors. You subtly block their access to resources. You plant seeds of doubt in the minds of their allies. You do not spread obvious lies. You simply illuminate their flaws to the people who matter. You orchestrate their failure without ever leaving a single trace of your involvement. By the time their foundation crumbles, by the time they lose the promotion, the deal, or the respect of their peers, they will have absolutely no idea it was you who engineered their downfall. They will blame the economy. They will blame bad luck. They will never see the ghost that pulled the strings. Why do you go to these lengths? It is not about petty vengeance. It is about constructing an untouchable reputation. Machiavelli made it very clear. It is much safer to be feared than loved. When you execute a strategic retaliation, you do not brag about it. You keep your mouth shut. But in the unseen currents of social dynamics, people sense danger. They notice when those who cross you mysteriously begin to fail. A whisper starts. A silent understanding takes root in the minds of everyone around you. You develop an aura of quiet lethality. People will look at you and subconsciously calculate the risk of testing your boundaries. They will look into your eyes and realize that beneath your calm exterior lies a switch they absolutely do not want to flip. This is the ultimate goal of the dark framework. Deterrence. You build a psychological perimeter so terrifying that no one dares to throw an insult in the first place. You win the war before the enemy even steps onto the battlefield. They will smile at you. They will step aside. They will offer you their respect, not because they want to, but because their primal instincts tell them they have to. You are no longer a target. You are the apex predator in the room. And predators do not get disrespected. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. You have sat here. You have listened to the mechanics of power. You have peered into the dark reality of human dynamics. But philosophy means absolutely nothing if it stays inside your head. The real test is not in understanding these words. The real test is waiting for you the second you step back into the real world. Tomorrow, the attack will come. The world is filled with weak people desperately looking for someone to drag down to their level. A colleague will make a snide remark. A stranger will test your boundaries. Someone will throw a spark of disrespect at your fortress. In that exact split second, your biology will try to betray you. The conditioned child inside you will scream. It will beg to defend itself. It will urge you to open your mouth, to explain, to justify, to fight back. The arena is waiting. The enemy has made their move. The void is open. What will you do? Will you react or will you respond? Will you flush red, raise your voice, and hand over your power? Will you let a nobody dictate your internal state? Or will you freeze your blood? Will you look between their eyebrows, deploy the cold gaze, and let them suffocate in your absolute silence? Will you be the puppet or will you be the master? The choice is yours, but you can no longer plead ignorance. You now know exactly what is happening when they speak. You know they are fishing for your energy. You know they are trying to steal your crown. It is time to draw the line. It is time to separate yourself from the masses of emotional victims who walk through life controlled by the words of others. It is time to kill the part of you that needs permission to exist. We are building a community of men who refuse to be weak, men who see the battlefield for what it is. If you are ready to step out of the dirt and take control of your own empire, you must declare it. I do not want passive observers here. Take the oath. Right now, in the comments below, write these words: I am untouchable. Do not write a paragraph. Do not explain yourself. Just those 3 words. Let it be a permanent record. A contract with your own mind that from this moment forward, no cheap insult will ever breach your walls again. If you refuse to be a victim, if you are ready to master the dark framework of reality, subscribe to this channel. Join the ranks of the few. The next time they test you, remember, you are the gunpowder. Do not ignite.